Oh, hello there.
What is up, everybody? It's Jim Placebo here with more Dark Souls 2 cosplay videos for you. This time, we're doing a Dark Souls fan favorite, Solaire of Astora. Now, anyone who's played Dark Souls 1 will recognize Solaire because he is a very popular character within the Souls community for his
Jolly cooperation.
and just jubilant, happy man nature. But doing this cosplay was interesting because I've never really played Faith before. I've tried to, but, you know, I've never really committed to it. But doing it here was a lot of fun. So let's get right into it. Let's look at our stats. Obviously, you want to focus on Faith for this build, so Faith and Attunement are going to be very important skills. But you also want to focus on your Strength and your Dex, because Solaire's just he's just a strong dude. He's just a dude who's burly. So you want to focus on Strength, Dex, Faith, and Attunement, I'd say, as your primary stats. And also, very important, Heirs of the Sun Covenant. Now, in most cosplay videos, I don't consider a specific covenant to be a very important thing, but here, it's something you really, really want to pay attention to, because, you know, Solaire's the sun dude. It's like, it's his thing. Alright, now let's get to our equipment. The Sun Sword, it's an obvious pick. You get it from the Heirs of the Sun Covenant. You get it after offering, I believe, 20 sunlight medals, and it's a very good weapon. It doesn't have great damage, but it does have double A scaling in strength and dex, and it doesn't have super high requirements. But you're definitely going to want to put those strength and dex points in to get the most out of this weapon for its scaling damage, and it's got an incredibly solid moveset. R1s are your basic slashes, and then your R2s are the dual thrusts, which is very good. You've got rolling thrusts both in one-handed and two-handed. And when you go two-handed, sprint, roll, and backdash are all thrusts, because the R2s become slashes. For the shield, you can do one of two things. Now, the major issue is that there's no shield that bears any real close similarity to Solaire's shield in this game. I've seen a lot of people who do this cosplay go with the Sunlight Parma, just because you also get that from the Heirs of the Sun's Covenant, but it doesn't really work. Solaire uses a bigger shield with an emblazonment of the sun on it. He wouldn't use a shield that just has an emblazonment of himself on it. Although I do really like the Sunlight Parma design, I just don't think it would work for a Solaire cosplay. So the shield I went with primarily was the Drakekeeper's Great Shield, and then as the other option was the Old Knight's Great Shield. They've both got this cross design with some other intricacies, which looks similar to the design of a sun. Obviously it's not perfect, but I thought it worked. Now, casting implement, because Faith is very important. I went with the Dragon Chime, which you can get either from the Pilgrims of Dark Covenant or just from killing Dark Driver Grandal. And this is probably the best Faith Chime in the game. It has, let me look at the damage again. It has 287, it has S scaling in Faith and A scaling in Dark, so it's a decent Dark catalyst as well. But it's easily the best Faith catalyst in the game, I would say. It has decent casting speed, and just when you infuse it with lightning, rock solid lightning damage. Look, that's 287 plus 187. That's, if it's not over 500, it's bordering on 500, I'm sure of it. And then binoculars in case you want to do any manual cast aiming, which for playing any cast build is important. So the miracles I decided to go with are Sunlight Spear, Sunlight Spear. But the Sunlight Spear, the Lightning Spear, and the Great Lightning Spear. All miracles you can get. The Sunlight Spear requires you to rank up the Heirs of the Sun Covenant all the way, so you will have to do a lot of co-op, but if you're cosplaying Solaire, you're prepared to do co-op anyway. And then Lightning Spear and Great Lightning Spear you can just find in the game. You can buy the Lightning Spear, I believe, from Lycia, and then you can also find one in Earthen Peak. You can find a Great Lightning Spear in the Undead Crypt, and then you can additionally buy another one from Strayed in the Lost Bastille after you complete the Undead Crypt. So I buffed my attunement up to 30 so that I could have 6 slots. That way I could have two scrolls of Lightning Spear and 2 scrolls of Great Lightning Spear, and then the Sunlight Spear all slotted in, so to give me a lot of slots. It also increases the number of Lightning Spears so that I have 8 when I have 2 slotted instead of 6. So when I did this cosplay, I focused very much on the getting a lot of casts, because I thought that would be important. I've seen some cosplayers do it where they buff Vigor and Endurance a lot more than Attunement and just go with a cast of Sunlight Spear, a scroll of Great Lightning Spear, and then a scroll of Sunlight Spear. But I thought that it would be good to have more casts and focus on this build kind of more offensively rather than defensively. Alright, let's get into the actual equipment. 2 things that I feel are obvious when you're cosplaying Solaire is the Heide Knight Greathelm and the Insolent armor. They're the closest things you could find. Until I was able... Oh, excuse me. Until I was able to get the Heide Knight Greathelm, I wore the Heide Knight Iron Mask, because it kind of has that little tuft, that little tassel on the back that is kind of similar to Solaire's feather, and at least in coloration. But the Heide Knight Greathelm is really the closest thing there is. Same with the Insolent armor. It's not perfect, the coloration doesn't 100% match, but it's very close in bare visual design. Now, I've seen, as far as cuffs and boots go, I've seen a lot of different things used. But what I went with were the Varangian cuffs and the Royal Soldier Leggings. And that's because when I was looking at concept art and the in-game models of Solaire, I thought those two bore the closest similarity. So, you know, because Solaire doesn't really wear gloves, he just wears cuffs. And the cuffs he wears are very similar in appearance to the Varangian cuffs. And then the Royal Soldier Leggings, the same thing. He wears what appear to be chainmail boots with shin guards. And the Royal Soldier Leggings are chainmail boots with metal shin guards. So I thought they were also a very close visual. And it's a decent armor set all around. I've got, you know, very good poise and very decently distributed armor stats. Now, one other thing I considered important when cosplaying Solaire is, you know, just leaving messages. If you really want to commit, leave messages around the world, whether it's just like this, a simple praise the sun, or, you know, just trying to be helpful, as well as doing lots of cooperation. It also makes the game more fun, because you get a lot more playtime. You get a lot of players who react very positively when they see you cosplaying Solaire, and then praising the sun as you enter their world. It's very fun. It's very goofy, but also highly viable. I did some PvP duels, and my internet connection right now isn't the strongest, but when I did have a good connection, some of the duels I did with this build are incredibly fun, because it's an incredibly good build, both for PvE and PvP. Alright, you guys, so that does it for showing off the details about this build. I might start doing a thing where I just put a picture of the stats and then the equipment at the end of the video, just so you get another look. But, for right now, I believe we're ready to go ahead and see what this build can do.
Oh, magnificent. It's a wondrous body. Here, stay still for a moment. Aha! So I didn't scare you. It pleases you greatly. Yes. Yes. If only I could be so grossly incandescent.